Welcome to my diary, beloved. I'm Tatami, and today I want to talk about California's role in the fight for healthcare for all. And just, I've kind of had a paradigm shift on healthcare for all once I saw somebody ask on Twitter a couple weeks ago about, which state they think would be the first. And I hadn't really considered that if we would do it state by state and then eventually it could be taken on at the federal level. I really hadn't even given that a thought. And so it was cool to think about. And that's when I started looking it up and I realized that several of our cities have actually passed measures about healthcare for all, and that there is kind of a growing movement towards having that be something we do statewide. And then, like yesterday, I got a notification for a local article about San Mateo City Council supporting universal health care. So I thought I would read this to you. It's from something called patch.com. By someone named Eric Hay or Eric He, I'm not sure. And basically it said San Mateo is the second city in San Mateo County to pass a resolution supporting a single payer healthcare system. Okay, so I hadn't even read it yet. I thought maybe it was the whole county, but San Mateo City, that's fine by me. So at any rate, I just thought I'd read you this article and we could read it together for the first time because I opened it and left it there just to make this video. The San Mateo City Council unanimously passed a resolution supporting universal health care during its meeting on Tuesday. San Mateo joins dozens of other California jurisdictions, including South San Francisco, San Jose, and Santa Clara County. San Jose is in Santa Clara County, isn't it? Anyway, in supporting a single-payer healthcare system. A bill, Assembly Bill 1400, has been introduced in the state assembly that would create a single-payer healthcare system in California. Our broken healthcare system is bankrupting our community's health, said San Mateo City Council member Amarance Lee. I voted for you, honey. We need California to harness the moral courage to lead on universal health care, or we will never recover from this pandemic. San Mateo's resolution, modeled after the city of South San Francisco's resolution, urged Congress and the state legislature to enact emergency legislation that addresses the three principles related to universal health care: coverage, access, and elimination of disparities in coverage and health outcomes. This expanded health insurance coverage will ensure that all residents of San Mateo will be provided universal health care coverage and will have universal access to that coverage, the resolution read. The council's decision drew the support of local activists, including Amanda Minch, who helped rally community support for the resolution. It's ridiculous how much we've gotten used to such a broken and unequal healthcare system, Minch said in a news release. COVID-19 has really thrown into stark relief, and the resolution shows that the city of San Mateo believes in a better system. Yes, honey. And so that's basically all they said. That's all they said. But I was really excited to see this. I was really excited to see this movement in this local area. And San Mateo, it's not really a county that you would think of doing something like this, I feel like, because there's so many wealthy areas around here. And South San Francisco, I guess maybe there's some wealthy areas. I'm not as familiar with all the different parts of San Francisco. I really don't like San Francisco that much. It gives me anxiety driving on those hills in the cars I've been able to afford in my adult life. I'm just gonna be real. So I'm like not somebody who likes to go down there unless it needs to happen. But at any rate, it does make me really excited to think about the fact that we are making those active steps towards doing this, because it would be cheaper for all of us, first of all. Second of all, it would be such a great investment into the working class here who's already struggling with so much. If we could just go to the doctor when we were sick, Like, you know what a relief that would be if we could just go get things done, if we could just go get, medicine that we needed. And like further, like I can just think back to when I was pregnant with the twins. Like I didn't know I had twins until I was like 6, 7 months almost. So I was super late on a lot of things, and they were just not having it. They were like, yeah, you have Medicare, but who's gonna take you? I was bounced around. Somebody had to make like a special thing in their system pretending I had been there since like 16 weeks, so that like, for several weeks before, just so that I could get a doctor, because legally I'm required to have one for twins, but the system just wasn't set up for that unless you're paying for it. It was just crazy. It was just nuts. And like further, the COVID situation in particular has just been like, it's been mind-boggling how people don't see how obviously we would need people to be able to get free tests on any given block at any given time. It's mind-boggling that, the health wasn't considered with like masks for free. That was on the different companies. Sorry, I had a bit of a fight to take care of there. Basically, the mask situation was just mind-boggling to me too, because it's like you had to rely on individual companies to be getting the masks, and you also have to be relying on there's a lot of the companies are just putting it off onto the workers. The workers are the ones who are having to check people's vaccines. The workers are the ones who are having to tell people to put their masks on. The workers are the ones who have to do all this stuff. So like I have my issues with that, but I'm just saying it's just sad that the different stores had to take the stance on whether they were for public health or not. Not the government was just like, okay, here's the supplies you need. Take them. Take the supplies you need. Make sure you're able to do this. Make sure you're able to do that. We're all going to stay safe out here. These were simple healthcare things that just should have been, and they should have been back at the beginning of this. And now we're all like, well, 4 free masks, like 4 free tests, whatever it is we're getting like in the mail right now. It's just like sad because, nobody's really wanting to address that stuff. I've noticed like a lot of like pro-vax people like on Twitter and such, with like doctors on YouTube and TikTok and stuff. They'll go on and on and on about these vaccines, but they won't address the underlying issue about healthcare for all and people not having healthcare, and how that alone would solve so much of these issues. It would solve people having distrust for their doctor, for the establishment, because it's somewhere that they've been before, because it's somewhere where they can choose where they're going, and it's not like this person's in, this person's out, this person's out, this person's out. It's like, no, you have that. That's like one of your rights. That's something that you get just because you're here. Obviously, if you're sick, you will be cared for, because that's what a humane and smart society does. That's what a wise society does. It makes sure that the workers who have been put on these front lines at the very least should be able to get some kind of health care. And then, lo and behold, instead we have like people who are just like, you shouldn't even get a bed if you didn't get vaccinated. And that's mind-boggling, because I'm like, how does that help anybody? What's that gonna mean? So now this person's roaming around trying to go to the store to get themselves something, getting other people sick, but you showed them. Like, it's just really sad to me that we have a lot of people who aren't focusing on the healthcare side of what could be in this pandemic and how that could actually help people. Because so far as I've been aware, you still get a bill after COVID, don't you? The government's not decided to foot that bill. If you end up in the hospital with COVID, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're still going to get charged for that unless you have like all-inclusive health care like Medi-Cal or something, or Medicare. I don't know what you guys call it outside of California. But my point is like, I'm just really confused as to how we even got this far, and there hasn't been more action. And I was really impressed to see that my city council did that. But I mean, like I said, I was surprised to recognize the name. I did like a lot of research. If you'll remember, I got very overwhelmed with that voting packet that I got last year. And I found myself, watching video after video, trying to figure out, what people were saying they were about, read their information on the packet, look up who they were. or look up all of the different, amendments or whatever that we were being asked to do. And, I was really mad about like one of the things I was being asked to vote on, because it was about like dialysis, and I'm not a doctor, so why I should be choosing this is beyond me. But my point still is it's just been a really depressing experience, not only because it's been at the, it was at the federal level where force the vote just didn't happen, and we were mocked for wanting to force the vote on Medicare for all, healthcare for all during a pandemic. But then, this was a great reminder to me about the local level of everything, and even just the statewide level of local, not just, because I've completely started to ignore the squad and all of them. I don't even engage in like mocking them anymore. I'm just done. I'm like, okay, whatever, establishment Dems, you joined them. And so for me, like that was a really sad thing to witness, like witnessing people, Joy, and Savage Joy, talking about how she like cried with, I think, Rokana or somebody about healthcare, and then for that same person to basically be mocking her later. Like, how you gonna cry with somebody and then you're not willing to put something on the line and fight for it, or at least get people on record about something like this? It's just been so depressing. It's been depressing to look around. It's been depressing to see my friends online and my friends in real life, in person, should I say, depressed, scared, sick, not knowing what else to do, unsure, and knowing that so many of the stressors that they have would be relieved. So many of the fears that they have of the government or of COVID, whichever one, it is that they feared the most, a lot of those fears would be relieved if they knew that they were getting good health care, they were getting the same health care as others, they had these opportunities, that they weren't going to have to worry about being in debt. And I think that would have really, really helped a lot of people over the last 2 years. And especially with the mental aspects of things, I don't think has really even been addressed enough. Long COVID symptoms, I don't think have been addressed enough, like in the media, I guess. And so I was just really proud to see that. I was really happy to see that. And it was a great wake up call and reminder to me that locally, individually, most Americans do want this. Something like 70% of Americans want this. We are not represented in the federal government, but the majority of us do want this different way of life. And that is a really important thing to remember. And it's important to remember, if we just go to people and we just talk about these things, they're going to say, yeah, of course, that makes sense. Absolutely, we should have that. Absolutely, that's how it should be. And that's what happened. The activists in this area, I didn't even know that was a thing people were super working on. You know what I'm saying? When I went out for the March for Medicare for All, I didn't see anybody around here. So I don't know where I was supposed to go, but they all knew. And I'm really glad that they all knew where to go, and that they were able to start this, and that my girl got into the city council and is already making such great changes. That's really cool to see. All right. May your ancestors and spirit guides be with you at every crossroads, and I will see you next time.